What is up, YouTube? Welcome back to another episode of Legally Caffeinated. I'm Frank Esquire. This is
Shuaib Esquire, and we are
Legally Caffeinated. This is the Loki legal breakdown. We are breaking down episode 3 again, going over details and Easter eggs that you might have missed, and we're also going to discuss one of our followers' theories.
D7 Mosaic.
D7 Mosaic. He hit us up on Instagram. Had some pretty cool theories about where the show's going, what's going on. Got me thinking, the last episode I talked about what I thought was going to happen. But now after hearing these theories, I'm not so sure as to what's going to happen. So we left off last episode where Loki and Sylvie, they're on Lamentis. You don't know if they're going to get off. Clearly they're going to get off because the series would just have had 3 episodes and not 6. But what's going to happen? So originally I thought, we thought Mobius was going to show up. He's going to ride on a jet ski. He's going to ride his jet ski to Lamentis and rescue them. Well, not really that, but he was going to show up on Lamentis because he knows that the variants hide out in apocalyptic events. And then he was going to have this heart-to-heart with Loki. Loki's convinced him he's a variant. He saves everybody. But some interesting fan theories is that one of them, and it's DC Mosaic, one of them is that when Sylvie fell asleep on the train, that everything's an illusion after. Which actually, I'm thinking about that, and it makes you wonder, what was... Sylvie fell asleep. What was the point of having her fall asleep? Just to have Loki start, a party on the train, an end of the world party, without her knowledge? He could have done that when she was awake. So what was the point of her falling asleep and waking up to Loki seemingly not caring that he shed his disguise and that he's about to get himself thrown off the train?
Not only shedding in disguise, he's making a spectacle of himself by singing loudly and making a scene. And Loki is very smart. He uses people's perception of him against them, right? So she thinks Loki is a clown, and most people think Loki's a clown, right? He's overly confident, he's arrogant, without really cause, but he's not stupid. So she wakes up and she'll believe this illusion that... So D7 Mosaic is basically saying that Loki took some of the Infinity Stones in order to create this illusion for Sylvie so that when she wakes up from her nap, he can get information out of her. She was very tight-lipped throughout the episode. Right. She didn't want to tell him much, and he was trying. He kept telling her everything about him, I think, in order to try to get more information from her. Because Loki, even though Loki seems like he cares a lot, when he read about the destruction of Asgard in the records while he was studying, I think on episode 2, he kind of seemed sad. But when he mentioned, or he was talking to Mobius about it, he kind of waved it off. Like, Mobius said, "I'm sorry about that." He said, "Yeah, whatever, move on." Right? So maybe he's trying to just get into her head.
Does he or does he not care? Yeah, and I think you're right. And the one scene where he comes back to the TVA, he follows her. Before he goes after her, you see him, and the camera pans over to the lockers where seemingly his daggers are. But did he go somewhere else? Did he run and grab a couple Infinity Stones? He knows where they are. They showed him. They show that they don't have any power at the TVA, but that doesn't mean that once you're out of the TVA that they're powerless.
And Loki's very fast with his hands. He might have taken some of them when the guy showed them to him, and he wouldn't even have known because they have a lot of them. That guy seems kind of slow anyway, right? But he only knows his job. He's not a spy. So Loki could have taken them then and is just keeping them for the right time.
Right, yeah, that's one theory. That he actually took these stones. That'd be interesting. It'd be a missed opportunity for Loki to not have at least pocketed one of them, knowing that at some point he's going to try to escape, he's going to try to take over the TVA. Not pocketing at least one of them seems very un-Loki-like.
But think about it. Loki wants to take over the world. He wants to go Earth. If he has all the Infinity Stones, how hard was it for Thanos to get the Infinity Stones? So Loki has all the power in the universe, right there at his hands. Once he gets it and goes back to, escapes eventually, boom, his dreams come true.
Right. I mean, something has to be up with his scheme. You know, what is his plan? Obviously to take over the TVA, but what's his plan? Because Sylvie falls asleep, she wakes up, he's throwing a party, and it seems like he doesn't seem to care. He shed his disguise, he's throwing a party, and it almost seems like he let them throw him off the train. I mean, he can vanish like that, and he's the god of mischief. He's, you know, super strength. He just seemingly lets them throw him off the train. She follows, and then there you have it. You know, did he let himself get thrown off the train?
How fast they would have gotten to that, I guess, arc faster and been able to take the arc. However, since he got them thrown off, that's not going to happen. But if he has the time stone, then he knows nothing is over, which is why at the end you see Sylvie turn around walking away like she's just defeated. And D7 Mosaic mentions this, right? She walks away like she's defeated while Loki's standing there, and he doesn't look defeated, he's just looking on, right? And they leave us there.
Right, yeah.
But he may know, like, I'm just gonna turn time back and give us enough time to get over this. I just need more time here with myself.
Right, yeah. I mean, he's not overly concerned for somebody who's about to be engulfed in an apocalyptic event, being destroyed by another planet or another moon, whatever's crashing in or on its way to Lamentis. You know, one of the other theories he brought up is that the tempad is not actually destroyed; it's an illusion, like you said.
Yeah.
And you know, maybe that's why he's not overly concerned, because he knows he can leave like that. He just wants to get more information out of Sylvie. So that's another theory. It'll be interesting to see what happens at the next episode. Who comes to save them? How they get off Lamentis? You know, and you mentioned this last episode, and I just noticed this too, rewatching. I hadn't previously noticed this, but you know, you're watching for Easter eggs, and we have them. Yeah. Why is Sylvie's horn? Why is the one horn on her crown? Why is it broken?
Yeah.
Why does she only have one horn? You know, that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking, why does she only have one horn? And what is her vendetta against the TVA? I'd really like to know what her history is and her beef with them. She said she was chased her whole life, so what's her beef? Did she have a relationship with one of the variants that now is a time variant authority agent, a TVA agent? Did she have a relationship? Was she actually friends with one of the hunters? You know, like, what's her beef that she wants it destroyed?
Yeah, that's
she
interesting.
Wants to take out the timekeepers.
Yeah, because she had to, when they come get you, like, you don't know what's going on. These people come that have weapons and telling you that you violated the law of the time variant authority, and they try to take you into custody. Now, they don't explain to you what that is, but she knows about the timekeepers. So that means she had to at least go through that process of getting in line, being explained what you did and what you're about to go through, and somehow she escaped. That'll be a good, like, how does she get out of there? Because if she knows everything, knows what the reset chargers is, she knows what the tempad is, she knows how to use them, that means that she's actually been taken into custody and taken back to the TVA, because she didn't ask where are the timekeepers. She asked how many people guard the elevator.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And how do I find the elevators? So she knew the layout, that there was elevators, there was guards. She knew she had all this information. But I mean, I'm sticking with my theory that I think Loki already controls the TVA. He's already in power. It makes more sense too if you think about the fact that Owen Wilson, his character Mobius, he knows everything about Loki's life. You know, they know all of these Loki variants. So clearly the TVA has had a focus on Loki himself. And is it because, you know, Loki is in control and he wants to prevent other Lokis from taking control and keep the timeline sacred? You know, I think that's something to think about. If you go back to the very first episode where the kid in the church pointed to who did this, and he pointed to, it looked like, you know, there were theories that it was Mephisto, but obviously it was Sylvie with the horns.
The horns,
but,
yeah.
You know, I think he's in charge, and I think we're gonna. I'm not sure how the other timekeepers come into play, but I think he's calling the shots.
Maybe she lost one of her horns. I don't know how this would work, so I'm going to give her half a theory that she was in a fight previously with one of the hunters, and their staff hit her horn, and it began to disintegrate. But somehow either she got away or somebody made them stop. Maybe it was Loki who was in charge and made her stop.
Right? Yeah, that's a good theory. I mean,
I don't think this is her first time fighting them.
No, she said they've been chasing her whole life. So clearly, you've been trying. Clearly, I'm thinking Loki took control. He just tried to wipe out every other past Loki, and that's why they're so knowledgeable of Lokis. They've already gone after other Lokis, and so they've been trying to wipe out Sylvie her whole life because Loki doesn't want anybody else taking control. And I think the timelines divulging, or the preventing the timelines from branching off, is just for him to keep control. There were some thoughts too that it's Kang the Conqueror, that he's in control of the TVA, but I really think we're going to find out it's Loki. It's kind of a Paul Bettany cameo of himself at the end of WandaVision. I think that's what we're going to have, where you go up the elevator and Loki comes face to face with himself, because the whole premise of the show is Loki meeting other Loki. So what better ending than Loki meeting the Loki who's actually controlling him?
Exactly. Loki goes up to take over and realizes that Loki is already there. However, Loki's, as you see, don't get along. Like, Loki knows that Sylvie is Loki, and Sylvie knows that they're one and the same basically, but they're not working towards the same goal. But think about it. Why Sylvie is Loki, right? They both have this ambition to be in charge. So what has caused Sylvie to want to destroy the timekeepers? And she never talks about ambition to be in charge.
No, she just wants to get up there to destroy them. She actually hasn't said what she wants to do. Right? At the first episode, he said, or the second episode, he said you want to take control of the TVA, and she kind of scoffed at that. She doesn't want any part of taking control of the TVA. So she wants to get up to see the timekeepers, but we don't know what for. We don't know why, and so it'll be interesting to see. She didn't really dive into like her upbringing with her mother or father, or whether or not does she have a brother? Is Thor her brother too in this alternate universe? Is there? How come there's only Loki variants? Are there Thor variants too?
Oh, here's a good question, right? So she said she was adopted, right?
Right.
But what did she say? She didn't know. She never met her mother, or didn't know. But they were talking about their upbringing. Hers was different than Loki's.
Right. Yeah. She said she was adopted, and Loki said they told you, and she said yeah. And then she asks him. He says his mother taught him magic, and she says, "What was your mother like?" But they don't say whether or not she knew her mother, had a mother, or anything. She just said she was adopted too.
Maybe she was her variant happened at a young age.
Yeah, it could have. I mean, they could have. Maybe her parents, maybe the timekeepers came to get her, and in so doing, I mean, Loki was in the one timeline he was taken from, right? Loki's responsible for his mother's death, right?
Yeah.
And so maybe the timekeepers are responsible. Maybe the timekeepers, killed Sylvie's mother or something like that, and now Loki indirectly is responsible for his mother's death, but in an alternate universe. It'll be interesting to see. I wondered also if the lady they came into contact with, the Lamentis, that told them about the evacuation shuttle, the Ark. I wonder if she has anything to do. She wasn't in a hurry to leave, so it kind of has you questioning the whole timeline itself, and whether or not destiny is what it says. I mean, the whole premise is that you can do anything you want in an apocalyptic event and nothing will change. But they were just about to try to get everybody off this planet or off this moon with the Ark. So it makes you think, you know, in Ragnarok, could they have gone back and evacuated everybody else? I mean, 9,000 people died, but what if they got more? I mean, then you're changing timeline. So it'll be interesting to see who comes to save them. But if you're watching, you have some theories of your own, leave them in the comments below. If you like this video, smash the gavel and like button. You want to see more, hit the subscribe button, turn on notifications, tune in for another episode of Legally Caffeinated as we break down more Loki theories. Thanks for watching.
Wait till next episode.
Me neither, man. The next 7 days is going to go by so slow.